चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। रोते हंसते बस यूं ही तुम गुनगुनाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। प्यार करते करते हम तुम कहीं खो जाएंगे, इन्हीं बहारों के आंचल में थक के सो जाएंगे। प्यार करते करते हम तुम कहीं खो जाएंगे, इन्हीं बहारों के आंचल में थक के सो जाएंगे। सपनों को तुम यूं ही सजाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। बीच राह में दिलबर बिछड़ जाए कहीं हम अगर, और सुनी सी लगे तुम्हें जीवन की ये डगर। बीच राह में दिलबर बिछड़ जाए कहीं हम अगर, और सुनी सी लगे तुम्हें जीवन की ये डगर। हम बुलाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। रोते हंसते बस यूं ही तुम गुनगुनाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना।
నిమిషాలు మౌనం పాటి. ఓకే, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ అటెన్షన్.
Hello, hello. Sound back there, good. Hello, hello. A small prayer. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamayam Mrityorma Amritam Gamayam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. This is the shloka from sacred Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 20. When Arjun, in despair, asks Lord Krishna about the very purpose of this life and the deeper meanings of life, the sorrows, death, and rebirth. Lord Krishna explains, it is about the self-realization that we are not this material body, that we and the world we are in are temporary material illusions. And to free ourselves from it, one has to give up all material desires and the sense of attachments. The very heart of Bhagwan consciousness is that this material body is temporary and is an illusion, asatya. Since we rely on our material senses too much, then the end of the body, mrityu, too appears real to us. However, our true self is the soul or Atma, and that lives forever. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing. That is Bhagavad Gita. Dear brothers, friends, and family, with a heavy heart, we are here today to honor, celebrate, and pray for our dearest Venkat. Thank you all for coming here to support and share our grief. I am Ratnakar. I feel grateful and thankful to have known Venkat for the last 2 decades. He was our guide, he was our big brother, and he was the life of our small family here in Roanoke. His persona was to live every second of life. Venkat, you are a great man with a very big heart, a big smile, and a big personality. Words can't express our sorrow and the loss we feel. You are, and you will be, always in our hearts. As we mourn today, we want to talk about his legacy. We have a few speeches, then viewing for all, and finally, the last rites by the priest, and then a funeral dinner at the Holiday Inn Valley View Mall. Now, Madhu and Nitya to start with the eulogy. Venkat's daughters.
Thank you all for being here to remember and honor the life of our dad. Our dad was born in India in 1959 as the youngest child of Kadam Narayan Reddy and Kamala Devi. He spent his formative years at Breeks Boarding School in Ooty, which we heard so much about over the years. He would relive fond memories of the train rides, how he would sneak extra desserts, and famously eat a dozen bananas.
Entrepreneurship and business came early on. In India, he had a store named Madhumati Supermarket, which was named after his sister, and for whom I was named after. When he moved to America, he started off with modest beginnings as a limo driver and working at a 7-Eleven, where he learned all about football, which would later become one of his favorite pastimes. Over the years, he would go from working at a gas station to owning multiple, and further developing various real estate endeavors. He could not have done this without the support from many family members, for whom he was always so grateful.
Our dad was full of life and lived every day with passion. He made every gathering, big or small, seem like a big celebration. He was the life of the party, a wonderful host, and never met a stranger. He would want this to be a celebration of his life and would want all of us to remember the good times we had together. So here are some of our favorites. Our dad was always an adventurer. He signed us up for so many activities. He took us scuba diving and to sailing lessons in South Carolina. We went whitewater rafting in West Virginia and took horseback riding lessons on Sundays. He pushed us outside of our comfort zone to try new things and experience all the things that life has to offer. He was a master chef. Growing up, he would always try making new dishes, from our favorite shrimp pasta to his famous chili chickens. He loved spending time cooking and, more importantly, sharing it with those whom he loved. As I got older, it was one of our favorite things to do together.
As you all know, Dad was very dedicated to his friends and family. He even waited outside of a Kmart in New York City overnight from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. so we could be the first in line to meet one of our favorite pop stars when we were in middle school. He never spared an expense and would honestly do anything for us. One of his favorite quotes that he would tell me over and over again is, "Life is a journey, not a destination." He would quote this at every big step in my life. I would always be so focused on my goal of becoming a doctor that he would tell me to pause and enjoy my teens and 20s, to travel, to explore, to study other things in college. His philosophical outlook on life that would say, who are we in this universe? Our lives are but a 2-second span in the grand scheme of things. We make the most of the time we have on this earth because we are all ultimately going to face death. I know that he would not want us all here to be crying, but instead he would want a joyous celebration of his life because that's what he was. He brought joy to everything he was a part of. I will continue to remind myself that this life we have is all about the journey. It's not just a destination, for we all ultimately have the same destination.
We were so lucky to have him as our dad. The qualities we learned from him and that we most admire and hope to emulate are to be warm, kind-hearted, giving, willing to help anyone at any time, and to live life to the fullest. Dad, we'll think of you every day, sometimes with a smile or a laugh, sometimes with a tear, but always with so much love. We hope to continue to make you proud.
Miss Veda, Venkat's niece.
I don't know where to begin, so I'm going to start with a quote that Nehru gave when Mahatma Gandhi died. He said, "The light has gone out of our lives, and there's darkness everywhere. Mama, you were the light for all of us. Your larger-than-life personality made us all happy. You knew how to make us all happy, laugh. There was just love from you." I'm so fortunate to have my son Yuvraj, Naira, and meet you and spend time with you and have beautiful memories with Venkat, as he fondly called you. He never called you Tata. It was Venkat for you all the time. I have a poem that I would like to read. Until we meet again, we think about you always. We talk about you still. You have never been forgotten, and you never will. We will hold you close with our hearts, and there you will remain to walk and guide us through our lives until we meet again. Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes, because those who love with their heart and soul, there's no such thing as separation. Mom, I loved you, and I will definitely miss you. I spent my first birthday with you, and this past June, even when you hurt your hand, you came to New Jersey. You were there for everything, Mama, and that I'm grateful for. Thank you.
Dr. Mason, Venkat's longtime family friend.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Lalita Mason, gynecologist. I've delivered many of the children here, including Madhumati. Kadam Narayan Reddy's family has been very close to us. We were neighbors in Hyderabad. And to give you a history of my affiliation with the family, when I was in 5th year med school, I used to take care of Narayan Reddy, which was his grandfather. I started off with my life treating him, Venkat's grandfather. I had a very close affiliation with his family. I don't know, this is all ordained, I guess. You know, our relationship has been so deep. We have never missed any events in our life, and we have enjoyed everything with the family, especially his aunt, Shamanta, his cousin, Jaya, and of course, Malati. And all the children are very close to me. I feel, you know, it was something ordained. We come across so many friends in our lives, but some people just stick there, probably a previous Janma relationship. About Venkat, I must tell you I'm very grieved and very saddened to be speaking at this event. Telling goodbye to a young soul, it's very hard, and especially with young children, and but Venkat was so flamboyant. His whole life he lived like a big party. He never saw negativity in his life, always positive. He dreamed very high, and like his niece just told, his daughters just told, he came with nothing, built it up to such an extent that he came from a zamindar family from India, and he proved himself to be a zamindar here. And that's a huge dream that anybody can fulfill in their lives. And I just rode in his car. I remember his dad's car, and a Impala, he brought that and he put his name there, Jagirdar. Of course, he lived his life like a Jagirdar, flamboyant. And I remember one incident when his children were having the sari ceremony, his parents were here, and that was my first visit to Raunau. And when his father, Kadam Narayan Reddy, was a very, very celebrated gentleman, very charismatic, and more stylish than Venkat ever was. So when they heard that I'm coming near the town, they told my car to stop near the gas station, and one after the other, 9-10 cars flew by, and as he got off, he popped 2 champagne bottles, and that was how Venkat lived his life. And I think we all have a lesson to learn from the positivity of his life, and he's leaving a legend for everybody. And Anu, can I tell a few things about Anu? Anu, I'm going to speak in Hindi. I'm a Tamilian by birth, but I can speak a little bit in Hindi. Anu, तेरे को उसने तेरा मांग भरा, तुझे दुल्हन बनाया, तुझे सजाया और अपने घर ले आया, और तूने उसका घर सजाया, उसको खुशियाँ दी और बेटियाँ दी, और उसने सरस्वती का देन बच्चों को दिया, और दोनों एक डॉक्टर बनी और एक डेंटिस्ट बनी. ये सब ऊपर वाले की आशीर्वाद है, और तेरे साथ हमेशा वो रहेगा. And he's lived such a wonderful life. I would never like you to live any other way but to happy, flamboyant, and a party life. Thank you. One more thing. His brother is here, Mahipal Reddy, and I have to quote one incident that the Speaker of the House from Hyderabad, Suresh Reddy, had come, and Malati had hosted a dinner, and this was like 10 o'clock. The food was not served, and I said, what's going on? So Venkat gets up and says, "Ab mera bada bhai aaye tak ye khana nahi shuru hoga." He had a deep love for his brother, and Mahipal accepted. Thank you. I'm sorry. one more thing, I forgot. His sister Malati was his Atma, I'm telling you. Nothing went on without Malati. And I remember it was some wedding and I was there and everybody was given a duty. So we asked Venkat, what's your duty? He said, my only duty is to look after my akka. That was his deep affection and a true love and a true honor to his sister. Malati, you were very lucky to have shared his life with you. Thank you.
Yamuna, Venkat's cousin.
Venkat Ba was such a charismatic person. You know, he would walk into the room and he would light it up. He always made us laugh. There's so many moments that go through my head, but the one that touches my heart is the way he sang and entertained us in Dad's 80th birthday. And he had such an amazing legacy, the SVS Corporation of the real estate, that he's built and developed over the years. He was an amazing businessman and an entrepreneur in his own right. And he was so proud of his heritage. His parents were Kadam Narayan Reddy and Kamla Devi. And he was the youngest of the family, and he was pampered, and he lived a very luxurious and royal lifestyle. You know, I still remember the trips going to Kadam growing up, the shikar, the amazing food, the jewelry he would take us to the tribes to buy. And so I'm so thankful for that, for those memories, and blessed to be part of that. And in Virginia, he established Camp Kadam that he was so proud of when he took us. Thank you, Venkat Bar, for those wonderful memories that we will always cherish in our hearts. And I wanted to share a quote by Abraham Lincoln. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in those years. And I think Venkat Bar lived it to the fullest. Om Shanti.
Shrikant, Venkat's cousin.
I have a few thoughts in my head and I'll try and turn them into words. Hopefully they're appropriate, and I'm sorry if they're not. You know, the depth of sadness I feel today is as deep and as intense as it was when I lost my parents. You know, driving here, I was wondering why I feel that way. And I think it's because of the hundreds and hundreds of amazing memories he created. Every one of them. And initially we got to know each other as second cousins, but there was an episode in 1997 when I got a call from Rupaka and Suresh Bhawa that Anaka had a fracture of her elbow and had developed complications, and the docs here in Virginia had literally given up, and that was the only time I saw him really stressed out. So we talked about it, and my boss, Dr. James Andrews, the renowned orthopedic surgeon, I was in training in Alabama then, I talked to him and we came up with a plan. So they both flew down and stayed with us in this small apartment. Arjun was a year old then, for a few weeks, and from then on, we became very good friends. We were not relatives anymore. And that friendship continued, and then WhatsApp came into our lives, and then we became even greater friends. And the thing that stands out to me was every single conversation I had with him was knowledgeable to the point where I learned something new every time. And the most recent one was just literally a few days ago before he went into the hospital. He sent me a WhatsApp picture of a sambar deer and a chital spotted deer. And he said, Srikant, do you know that these are considered pests in South Texas and they are trophy hunters now? And I didn't know that. And so he was the amazing person with amazing general knowledge. And another small little tidbit. So Dr. Andrews, you know, he's a big-time orthopedic surgeon, doesn't have time for too many people. But when Anaka came down, he met Dr. Andrews 3 times for a few minutes pre-op, for about 10 minutes while Anaka was recovering from anesthesia, for another 10 minutes, and then a few days later while the stitches were coming off in recovery, in rehab. And each time, there was only a couple minutes of conversations about how Anaka's elbow was doing. The rest of the conversation was about deep sea fishing. And he and Dr. Andrews hit off big time. To the point, about 5 years back, I was talking to Dr. Andrews about something else, and he said, how's your cousin doing? Because that was the first elbow arthroscopy that was done in Alabama, and he was a pioneer in that. And so he still remembers Anaka, but he quickly added, how's that big fellow doing? Because he hit off, and Dr. Andrews was impressed that he, living in Virginia, knew so much about deep sea fishing and all the type of fish at different depths. And then finally, I saw him twice this year. First was for 4 or 5 days at Yemu's house in Baltimore for Chicha's funeral. And then for 4 days, this July 4th weekend when we all got together in Oklahoma. And I saw a distinct change in his health. And, you know, like you said, he loved football. So we were in the basement, and I noticed that he was taking the elevator down and not using the stairs. So I was close enough to him we talked about his health, and he said, Srikant, put on the New England Patriots and St. Louis Rams football game. And then he started talking how Belichick nullified the Rams' high-powered offense. And somehow the conversation drifted to our own mortality, and he said, Are Ustad, you know, we got lucky 3 times. We hit the jackpot 3 times. Then I just was surprised, and he said, the first jackpot was we got married to great spouses. And then the second jackpot, he said, we have 2 great kids. And then the third jackpot was we have great family and core group of friends in Virginia and Oklahoma. And then he reminded, you know, when our time comes, like I said at Chicha's funeral, we need to have a good time. Of course, there'll be some grieving, a lot of grieving, but we'll do our best to try and enjoy, live through his memories. I just want to share that.
Miss Yamuna on behalf of Rupa Venkat's cousin.
So my sister Rupaka couldn't be here today. I know she's watching virtually, but her heart is over here. So I'm gonna read out her speech. Namaste to all. I got to know more about Venkat after he married my dearest cousin and companion Anu. Venkat always wanted the best out of the best for Anu. I remember Anu telling me how Venkat took her to Chennai to buy her diamond earrings from the famous Vimudi jewelers. He was a very caring husband. He even got Anu her dream car, a red Range Rover, as her 60th birthday gift well in advance. Venkat and Anu both worked very, very hard in this country, and they made the American dream a reality. I haven't met or seen a more hardworking couple, and hence, I always consider them a power couple. Venkat is the best with investing. He always had this incredible foresight for the future. Investing in SBS had been one of the best investments we did. Thank you, Venkat and Anu. Radharani always talks about creating and selling her phone cases on Etsy so she can collect money for Venkat Uncle's investments. Venkat and Anu, they're a very kind and caring and helping couple, and hence built a great friends group in Salem. Venkat's unique dressing style, his humble, charismatic nature, and his heartfelt speeches made him unforgettable even after one meeting. Dear Maltaka, the love and the respect and the bond between you and Venkat is a lesson for all siblings. A few months ago, I remember how many beautiful wishes he made for you on your 70th birthday at Geetaka's home. Venkat will always be with you, Maltaka. And Madhu and Nithya, your dad is always so proud of your achievements, and they made him the proudest dad. Continue to make him proud. He's always in your hearts. Anu, once Venkat shared a video with me in which you were snow cleaning your driveway. The caption was, "My wife is a strong woman." You're one strong woman, Anu, and God will give you the strength to continue the legacy you built together. Anu, I feel very sad and sorry for not being by your side now, but the risk of coming and infecting others with COVID is not as high, and hence it was the toughest decision to make. Thank you for understanding, dear Anu. Remember always, we are there for each other. Love you, Anu. Thank you, Venkat, for all your precious memories. Our parties will not be the same without your presence. Venkat, your loss is irreplaceable, and you will forever hold a sweet spot in our hearts. May your soul rest in peace. Om Sai Ram.
Neil, Venkat's grandniece.
Good afternoon. My name is Neil Reddy, the great-nephew of Venkat Tata. GV Tata was the most caring, humble, and intelligent man I ever knew. He has taught me many things over the year I've spent with him, like how stocks work, how to play poker, even how to shave. Tata had many interests, such as cooking and hunting. Whenever he found a recipe online, he would try to make it and include us. He would never hesitate to buy me or Diaka anything we wanted, no matter the price. One of the best things I've seen him do was when he made Camp Kadem, and he let me and Dia do anything we wanted there, like ride the vehicles and pet the animals. I had 3 favorite memories of him. One was when he took me to Camp Kadem and we went up the mountain and watched the sunset, or when we went to a steakhouse and we ate ribs for the first time. Lastly, as a kid, he would always tell me about his hunting experiences, and I enjoyed them so much. The most important thing he has ever taught me was that if you do something right, you have to do something right or don't do it at all. I love my Tata so much, but I have to remember that he will always be in my heart. Thank you.
Dia, Venkat's grandniece.
Hi everyone, my name is Dia, and I'm Venkat Tata's great niece. GV Tata was an influential figure to many people. He was like a grandfather to me, a role model, and the most loving and humble person in my life. He was always ready to give me and Neil anything we ever asked for without question. In all 4 years of my elementary school, Tata never missed a single grandparents' day. He would always surprise me with my favorite Chick-fil-A nuggets and fries. One year he noticed that some of my classmates didn't have any grandparents with them. Because of how caring Tata was, he invited them to eat with us. He told us stories about his hunting adventures, childhood stories, and how he had come to the U.S. The next day at school, my classmates asked when he was coming back, and I said he will soon. This is one of my favorite memories of Tata because it shows how he was as a person. I have so many special memories of Tata, and I'm so happy I got to spend so much time with him. I know that it's going to be hard because his presence won't be there, but he'll always be with me in my heart. I will always keep his wisdom and advice with me. I love you, Tata.
Deepa, Venkat's niece.
Good afternoon. My name is Deepa Reddy. I'm the niece to Venkat Reddy. Venkat Chicha was not my only uncle, but he was a godfather and a mentor to me. Because of his efforts, I was able to fulfill my dream by coming to the USA. I had an opportunity to spend memorable time with Venkat Chicha, Anu Auntie, Madhu, and Nitya. I never felt like I was the only child. I never felt like I was without my parents. He treated me as a daughter and held my hand over these last 25 years, more than my own father. I will really miss your presence, Chicha, and I will cherish all the golden years we spent together. I know you will always be with me, and I love you. Om Shanti Om.
Pawan Reddy, a long-time friend. Venkat used to call him Malik.
I will do my best not to cry, so I've got my wife with me to support me. So I'm Pawan Reddy. Venkat was one of my dear, extremely dear friends. Our story goes back to 1993. That's when I first came to Roanoke. We were freshly married. We just got here, and my father told me, Kadam Narayan Reddy uncle's family is over there, you better go meet them. And I used to be very shy and very different back in the day. I said, so he knew, so he kind of pushed me. And as you know, uncle was a very famous member of parliament and everything, and he was friends with my father, so I couldn't say no. Very hesitatingly, I came and met Anita and Venkat. But we just had an instant connection the first time I met him. I remember we talked nonstop for almost 30 minutes. All kinds of useless things were spoken, from Scotch whiskey to mutton chops. And then both of us bonded on this useless movie called Sholay, because that was a big movie we both grew up. We shared so many dialogues, so I knew this was the man I wanted to be, friends with for a long time. Over the years, they had children, and back then we didn't have any kids. We would debate. We go to Anita's house or our house, but I guess Anita's biryani was a tiebreaker. So we always ended up in your house, and we had such wonderful, amazing memories. Lots of memories for me in the old house with the swimming pool and all that, And what can I say about Venkat? A lot of people have spoken here. All I can think of when I was trying to remember him was passionate, and passionate. That is the name,
Venkat never did anything he did not fully believe in. He has to completely be involved. We call that all in our poker language. He didn't go into anything that he didn't completely, believe in. We shared a lot of mutual things. Of course, he loved the Hindi shairi. He was a huge Kishore Kumar fan. A lot of younger people in our group that we play and we meet, and they were all like, "Oh, Bhai Saab always wants us to play Kishore Kumar," and I had to, we had to overrule the others on some of them. As you all know, he was also an extremely successful businessman. He went from gas stations, holiday inns, real estate. There is nothing that my brother has not touched that did not turn into gold, I would say. He just had that charm. We would even take him with us. His hat, his presence, he just built us confidence. If I had to go to some deal, I would, take him along like moral support. He just had an unbelievable presence. And for the last 10 years, he also created a brotherhood here called RAPS, and I know there are several of us friends here. And we used to meet very frequently, and he really took care of us. He made sure every single thing was taken care of. He was very particular how the food was cooked. It has to be I don't know how to translate a kattela poyi. It has to be a wooden stove, and the meat has to come from his farm, and the ingredients, everything, he was very, very particular. He didn't like to take any shortcuts. A lot of us just wanted to take a shortcut, eat a good meal and leave, and all that. I also want to share, he was an amazing storyteller. I don't know, so many stories he has shared with us. I've never been to Adilabad or Kadam, but I feel I have been there so many times. So many of us have heard stories from, I guess some of them I can't even say it here, but he just had a knack of saying stories from his village or from his business deals or from his hunting trips. And even if they were repeated, we all were so engrossed and we just wanted to listen to him over and over again, I'll tell you one short story. So he took the 6 or 7 of us brothers, as you know. He was very fond of hunting. So he had a local friend, a white friend who he was very close to. So said, "I've got these fellows. I want you to teach them hunting. I'm bringing them." So, we 6 of us, we all went there. We saw the guns. One of the few times he was so disappointed in us. We were so busy taking pictures with the guns and posing on Facebook and not interested in hunting. So he gave us that very, disappointed look. I also have to share one more story. So he became he was very passionate about food. He wanted, made in a certain way. So he came up with this recipe for a Sikandari Raan. So, the boys, they didn't understand anything. So Venkat said, "Hey, we are all going to make Sikandari Raan." They all said, "Yeah, Bhai Saab, no problem." Then we realized what this Sikandari Raan is. It took 3 days to marinate and almost 3/4 of a day to cook. Anita remembers this. And Anita was like, "Come on, tondaraga gani, agalaitudi." That's just one of those. In the end, nobody remembers what the Raan tasted like. But that was Venkat in a nutshell, He made memories for us, he took care of us, and these are lifetime memories he made. And that, that Raan story is just one of them. For me, he was more than a friend. He was like an elder brother. He took care of me a lot of times. He changed his red label because I liked a different kind of scotch, and he made everybody else drink. We're not going to do red label, we're going to do Oban. And he knew I had some allergies with the red chilies, and you remember he was more than Bindu. "Hey, Pavan ostunadu, we can't put errakaram." I'm going to miss that. Nobody else took care of me like that. And even during bad COVID times, he ran like a food service, we called it. Every other day he would experiment, and we were the beneficiary of his, wonderful food. I can go on. I don't know how to summarize 30 years of friendship. in 3 minutes. He was just something else. Yeah, so one day he finds out that Bindu loves mangoes one summer, and he gets mango. You know, you would think he gets a box of mangoes. No. In Venkat style, poor Mike, wherever he's sitting, he's the faithful deliverer. We got boxes of mangoes every other day, several boxes for like several weeks. Sorry. So, you know, always life like that. Madhu, Nitya, and, you know, Anita, you know, our heart aches for you. I want you to know, Bindu and I will always be there. We'll always have your back, and we're here. Whatever we need, we're here to support you. Okay? And I'm hoping we're going to keep our Bhai Saab's legacy alive. We're going to keep talking about his stories. We're going to keep, you know, forever and ever. Sorry. You know, he had one complaint with me, as some of the poker boys will say. He always said, "Aap hamesha jaldi chale jate. 12 bajte hi chale jate." You know, his complaint was, "I leave early." I want to ask my brother, you know, that today he left us early. You know, last few days have been terrible. It's very difficult, very, very difficult to accept he's gone. We are so used to him coming from somewhere and always telling us, "Hey, kya ho raha hai, chalo? You know, ye kya shaklein bana rakhe hain? Kuch karte hain, chalo." He's always about positive energy, positive. He probably won't like us or me crying like this, but you know, I'm going to miss him terribly. I think he loved me more than anybody I have here. And I'm going to say, you know, I hope he rests in peace. One last thing. For his 60th birthday, I sang a song for him from his favorite movie, Sholay. And I'm hoping I can sing one line from that. Sorry. ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे.
Mike, Venkat's long-time caregiver. Mike. "8 a.m., 2 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 a.m., anytime, there is always Mike."
This is someone I'm going to really miss. He's been like a father to me. And only NFL football game I've ever went to, and I got lost. And Reddy was back at the motel room. And I just like to say that I love this man with all my heart. And I will surely miss him. Thank you.
Shravan, Reddy Venkat's friend and a family.
Well, Venkat Bhai Sahab was actually a distant uncle of mine. His father and my grandfather were contemporaries in politics as member of parliaments. But he always wanted me to address him as Bhai Sahab, as older brother. He was always there for me and for all of us in Roanoke. I shared wonderful memories with him for the past 15 years since I moved here. There was no dull moment in his life. He was always picking up the phone and planning an adventure. Has a warm heart. He spent countless hours with me, late at nights, just coming home, and very nostalgic about his past. His daughters, he was very proud of them. He shared wonderful stories between my grandfather and his father. I was a kid when I actually went to his place in Kadam. Back in the day, I used to travel with my grandfather, and between Mancherial and Nirmal was Kadam. So as we reached where we have to take the exit towards his town, there was a constable there, and my grandfather would ask, "Kadam Sahab hai wahan pe?" And the constable would acknowledge and say, "Yeah, Bade Sahab hai." Then the car would turn towards, to his town. And I saw the hospitality that his father had given us, and obviously we shared a meal before we left, heading to Nirmal. So he was always having high regards for his dad. He shared a lot of stories about him. He was very close to his dad. He admired him so much. He wanted to build a home just like his in Amberpet, like up in the hill. He was very fancy. He had his deck built for his taste. As you all know, we shared all of it. He entertained us day and night. He would just pick up the phone and say, he would call me Maharaj when he's upset with me. Kya Maharaj, he would say. And when he loved me, he said, Chotu. And he was a very good poker player, and he would play till the end, although he had a losing hand, and he had this uncanny way to win the last hand. And we were all surprised. I mean, we lost a lot of money to him, but he would bring it back to us and say, play with the extra money. He shared every bit of his time with us. As you heard Pawan say, that he was a good, cook. He would always make sure that we are all well fed, and he would never let our glasses be empty. He would always refill them. He never let us that he was an elder person. He just kind of was part of everybody's life. He created a group, he was part of creating this school called RAPS, Roanoke Poker Society. He wanted it that way. And he took the lead for everything that he has done. He would plan adventure after adventure every month, and we have to just say yes. We can't say no to him. That was his style. And the members in that group were all at least a decade younger to him. Just to keep up with his enthusiasm, he made sure everybody was at least a decade younger so that we can keep up with him. He took us places, I should say. He even took us to MGM to gamble. He actually put a few $100 in everybody's pocket to say, go gamble. Just get the feeling of it. As Pawan said, he took us rifle shooting. He created Camp Kadam, and he said, all hands on deck. Everybody needs to come here and help me and get this going for our community. And he was very proud of it. And it's sad to see that he's so quiet in this room. He was always very loud and boisterous. It's hard to see him lying still here. It's just difficult. He was a very family man, very family oriented. I know he used to make a plan spontaneously and said, we are going on an adventure. It's going to be next to a stream. He rented a cottage and said, we are all going there in the next week. And we said, are you sure? He said, and then Ratnakar would say, aren't there snakes there or other things? And Ratnakar was always the careful one. And then Pawan would interject and said, no, that should be all right, Ratnakar. We can manage that. And he would say, we are going to the wilderness, we are going to their home, so you don't have to worry about all that. And then he would say, Mike, just make this happen. Mike would go arrange tents and whatnot. And I was afraid that Anitaka will say no to this, but he had an uncanny way of convincing her, and he would come, everything is taken care of. And we would say, what can we bring? Can we bring some items, cooking and stuff like that? He says, no, everything is packed up, and Anitaka would pack everything, even salt and pepper, everything would be packed up. I don't know how you could convince her, but she would let it do it. Sometimes she wouldn't cook half the meal and send it too. So we had such fun memories. It'd be hard to, not have him around. It was like, a big brother. He was like a godfather to all of us. And I hope he rests in peace. Yeah.
Ravi Vareli, a close friend and a RAPS member.
My name is Ravi. Rumi said, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. This may sound like a fancy word arrangement. I didn't know how exactly this works until I met Venkat. He is a people person. And you know what? If you have people on your side, the world is on your side. So that is how you can rig the world. So he is very knowledgeable. There is nothing that he does not know. From Telangana farming to the latest solar farming. So you name it, he got it. When he walks towards something, it feels to me that he is not walking towards the world, but the world itself is coming towards to him. He is that much powerful. He is my big brother. I know Venkat for 20 years. He lived his life the way he wanted. He is inspiration to me. So my glass was half empty before. My glass was half empty before I met Venkat. But he told me the glass is meant to hold full. So never leave half empty. Live to the fullest. So you might have noticed his hands are so soft. So like his heart. So when he shakes your hand, it's like he's extending his heart, his big heart. So in Telugu we say, big heart, pedda chayi, means he has a wide big hand. So when he shakes his hand, or when he serves food, or when he donates, it's a big hand. So he can hold, more than that a hand can hold, and he'll just give it to you. So he does not expect anything back. He just gives. I am very fortunate that I lived in the same period that Venkat lived. Suchi, and I will always be grateful for the way he touched our life and hearts. Rumi also said, death has nothing to do with the going away. Death is a coming together. I know he is now busy on the other side of the world, cracking jokes and inspiring with his stories. Anna, there is nothing that can fill this void that you created. We miss you.
Mr. Hussein Alam, a close friend.
I know Mr. Reddy, as you would call me, Mr. Alam. Met him, I don't know, maybe 23 years ago. He wanted us to design his house, build his house, and as an architect with a construction company, we do a lot of work for a lot of people. We fell in love with each other. He was an amazing man. It was fun to build his house, but to take the journey of life with him, we have done hundreds of projects together, partners with him on several buildings, and known his kids since they were this little, and Anita. There's a saying by Rumi, as it goes like this: when it's your time to leave this world, you'll only have one regret: if you loved enough. And most of us live a full life. We have wife, kids, parents, and I have parents that live close to me. I built a house for them in Ashley Plantation. 92 years old, father, and mother who's in mid-80s. Most of us come to this world with a purpose to serve, to love, and some of us get to do that well in a long life. Mr. Reddy got to do that very well in a very short life. Just a few years older than me, but he lived every minute like he really means to live. And we did several hundreds of hours, sometimes a month, dealing with each other and working together, picking up finishes, building developments, his gas stations, his redoing his K&W cafeteria and big lots, and building new apartment buildings and coming up with design ideas. And he would call me up one day and say, Mr. Alam, do you want to go to Chicago? I said, what do you mean Chicago? I mean, we're trying to get this project done. No, I'm thinking about putting solar panels on this building. So let's take a trip to Chicago. We'll go out there, we'll study solar panels, we'll come up with all these ideas, and we'll make all our buildings solar, He loved life. He loved coming up with ideas, and he loved delegating, and he could see right through people's hearts and souls. He saw goodness in people. He surrounded himself with a lot of good humans, as we all heard the stories. And most of us are lucky to even have good families. He not only had good family, he devoted his life to his family. He devoted his life to his friends they played poker with. He devoted his life to people like me that, he didn't have to. We got an airplane, we went to Chicago, we were on top of roofs learning about solar panels and coming up with ideas and how to put on his buildings, We were doing another project with him and building apartment buildings downtown Roanoke, and, it's all built up, we got drywall up, and comes to me, he said, Mr. Alam, we were doing a walkthrough with partners up there, and he said, Mr. Alam, I know you're not gonna like to hear it, but I think on these lower level lofts, we should put bathrooms, because all the bathrooms up on the upper level. I said, Mr. Reddy, really? You want to do that now? He said, yeah, I think we should just saw cut the slabs and put these bathrooms, because it's going to be amazing. So I look at him, he's got a smile on his face. I said, Mr. Reddy, this is going to cost us like $50,000 or more. He said, no, but I want this to be amazing. he loved everything about life. Life as it crossed his paths. Most people are given people in their lives that they love, they serve. Not many of us are fortunate to love and serve everyone who crosses their path. He was one of those people who had the uncanny ability to love and serve everyone who crossed his path. Somebody, a total stranger who didn't go to his poker party, he loved me like his brother, and we shared memories and built memories for everyone around us. Whether it was an electrician, a plumber, a drywall guy, he was able to be the light of the party even when there is no party, when it's just work. As I tell my 4 daughters, and something I learned from Mr. Reddy, the 3, and we talked about this all the time, the 3 important values in humans that we should learn to share. One is kindness. We should be kind above all to everyone who cross our path. And then we should work hard, use all our gifts and abilities to serve everyone who come in our life and cross paths with us. And third, maybe the most important, is when you wake up in the morning, to be thankful for all the blessings, all the people, all the good things that you have in your life, and the bad things, and maybe not so good things. And he was one who was truly lived those 3 virtues. Every hour of the day, every minute of the day, he saw goodness through people. He saw the challenges and learned from it. He made everyone become the best version of themselves, which is a very, very hard thing for all of us to do. Some of us are lucky to just inspire our children. He inspired not just this room, but probably 10 times this room, and I walked with him in Chicago and went up to the top of Sears Tower. He even inspired the people who were working at the base of Sears Tower. And as we were walking up, the custodial staff, the people who worked there, not just the waiters in the steakhouse that he would love to go and have his dinners up there, but he was a man who brought the best in all of us. So as a legacy to him, today should be a moment of joy that he lived with us and will continue to live through us for the years and decades and months and lifetimes to come. I am who I am because of my relationship with Mr. Reddy. I'm a better architect, better human being, better businessman, better father, better son to my parents because I met him. And if we can all take the candle of his life and his light in our lives and live like he did, or he inspired us to live, we will do justice to his legacy. Thank you for making me part of this. So honored.
Miss Malati, Venkat's sister, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very thankful from the bottom of my heart for all of you to come here to pay tribute to my brother. And just a few words. I'm thankful to Dr. Mason for taking the time to come. My aunt, who came a week ago to help us to overcome this as a strength to us. And Anu, I'm ever so grateful to you for taking care of my brother so well. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful to you to take care of my brother. Thank you, everyone. Let the legacy live. Thank you.
Now we're going to chant Om Shanti 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 once, all of us together if you can, in your mind or loudly. Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Now we're going to have the viewing. So our arrangement is people from the last row will come forward like this and then go back like that one by one. So please start from that end. You're going to come this way. Sorry, one more. Mahipal Reddy, brother, please come with us. Please come.
Thank you everyone for being here to bid farewell to my beloved brother Venkat Reddy. Better late than never, that's why I came up on stage. Towards the beginning of when we were young kids growing up in Ooty, we were the last two left who would travel from Hyderabad to Ooty, at least for 3 to 4 years. That's when the relationship really got more intense and we loved each other. We are more than brothers. Then, of course, after that, we had the opportunity to be together at my dad's house in Ambarpet, which he built over a hill. There, we went on these hunting expeditions to all the areas within Kadam. There also, we increased our relationship together because both of us had a passion for hunting, and he would drive and I would shoot. Then we even did some camping in Kadam Hills. Those are the last words he spoke. He sent a message to me saying that, you know, brother, I feel as though I'm in Kadam Hills with the tribals and you and me are going hunting. And I replied, surely, brother, given an opportunity, I would love to settle in these hills to protect them and become a volunteer. Goodbye, my brother. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Continue with the viewing from that end this way. just a reminder, after the viewing, there will be a final last rites puja performed by the priest, and then we will have a funeral dinner, after funeral dinner, at the Holiday Inn Valley View Mall. So Venkat's favorite food will be served there. So please join at Holiday Inn Valley View Mall. It starts at 5:30.
Hello, hello, hello. No, hello.
Venkat Reddy.
पातकानां प्रकाशकृत महापातक समरूपानुपातकानां उपपातकानां संकलीकरणानां मरणीकरणानां नप्रात्रीकरणानां जातिभ्रंशकराणाम् अवकीर्णकानां प्रकीर्णकानां रहस्यकृतानां महापातकानां रहस्यकृत महापातकादिष्टरूप महापातक व्रतादिदेशकरूपादिपातकानां रहस्यकृत महापातक समरूपादिपातकानां उपपातकानां संकलीकरणानां मरणीकरणानां नपात्रीकरणानां जातिभ्रंशकरणानां अवकीर्णकानां प्रकीर्णकानां देवं बहूनां बहुविधानां सर्वेषां पापानां दग्धादकृतानां ज्ञानदोभ्यस्तानां ज्ञानदोभ्यस्तानां ज्ञानदो ज्ञानदस्ति निरन्तरभ्यस्तानां उपदेशकविज्ञापया भो यजमानस्यां पितुः वर्णदिनादारभ्य प्रतिमे हरि तव जन्माभ्यासादि जन्म प्रभृति दक्षिणपर्यन्तम् यौवन कौमार वार्धकेषु जाग्रतु स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्थासु मनोवाक्काय कर्म इंद्रिय व्यापारैः रहसि प्रकाशे च ज्ञानतः अज्ञानतश्च कृतेभ्यः प्रकाशकृत महापातक चतुष्टय व्यतिरिक्तेभ्यः प्रकाशकृत महापातक अतिष्ठरूप महापातक व्रत अतिदेशिक रूप अतिपातकेभ्यः अतिपातकेभ्यः प्रकाशकृत महापातक समरूप अनुपातकेभ्यः पातकेभ्यः केभ्यः सक्कली करणेभ्यः मलिनी करणेभ्यः अपात्री करणेभ्यः जातिभ्रंशक करेभ्यः प्रकीर्णकेभ्यः प्रकीर्णकेभ्यः रहस्यकृत कृत अभ्य महापातकेभ्यः पातकेभ्यः रहस्यकृत महापातक अतिष्ठ रूप महापातक पुरत अतिदेशिक रूप अतिपातकेभ्यः रहस्यकृत महापातक समरूप अनुपातकेभ्यः उपपातकेभ्यः संकलि करणेभ्यः मलिनि करणेभ्यः अपात्री करणेभ्यः जातिभ्रंशक करेभ्यः अवकीर्ण केभ्यः प्रकीर्ण केभ्यः अज्ञानतः सकृतु कृतेभ्यः अज्ञानतः अभ्यस्ते सकृत तेभ्यः ज्ञानतः अभ्यस्तेभ्यः ज्ञानतः चाद्य अभ्यस्ते अभ्यस्ते स्तेभ्यः अज्ञानतः अज्ञानतश्च चिरकाल अभ्यस्तेभ्यः बहुभ्यः बहु विधेभ्यः विधेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापेभ्यः अमुक्तो भूय मुक्तो भूय इति अनु गृह्णन्तु भवतः जन्माभ्यासादि जन्म प्रभृति जन्माभ्यासात् जन्म प्रभृति दक्षिणपर्यन्तं समस्तदोषनिर्हरणार्थं स्वर्ण आद्य धान्य कुर्चिराण्या आचरिष्ये स्वर्णं पवित्रममलं स्वर्णं पापप्रणाशनं स्वर्णं विशङ्करं यस्मात् तस्यान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूपस्य ब्राह्मणस्य स्वर्णकृच्छ्रप्रत्याम्नायम् स्वर्णकृच्छ्रप्रत्याम्नायं तथाशक्ति तुभ्यमहं सम्वर्धते न मम धन्यं करोषि धातारमिह लोके परत्रजा तस्मात् मे स्यात् शान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे आद्य प्रत्याम्नायं तथाशक्ति हिरण्यं तुभ्यमहं सम्वर्धते न मम कामधेनो समर्पोदं सर्वं हृदेवानामाद्यमाहारमतस्यान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे आद्य धान्य उच्च प्रत्याम्नायं तथाशक्ति हिरण्यं तुभ्यमहं सम्वर्धते न मम स्वर्णं पवित्रममलं स्वर्णं पापप्रणाशनं स्वर्णं विशङ्करं तस्मात् शान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे धान्य धान्यकुच्चप्रत्याम्नाय नमः इदं कुच्चत्रय प्रत्याम्नाय समर्थे नमः महाविष्णुप्रीतिं कामयतामस्तुभ्यं समर्थे नमः ओम वज्रपूर्वं देवतायां पुण्यतिथो यजमानस्य विदुः सर्वप्रायश्चित्तं गोदानम् आचरिष्ये भवान् अङ्गेषु तिष्ठन्ति भुवनान् चतुर्दश यस्मात् ब्रह्मे स्यादस्यान्तिप्रेच्छ मे यथा सिक्किरण्यं तुभ्यमहं सम्प्रदेन मम अनेन प्रतिगृह्णादो गोदानात् पुण्यार्थं दक्षिणादुभ्यं सम्प्रदेन मम यजमानस्य मरणे सम्प्राप्ते सति पुत्रादिः कर्ता भूत्वा शुचो देशे गोमयेनानुलिप्या विशान् परिस्तीर्या तिलान्विकीर्या यजमानस्य पितरं स्नात्वा आचम्या पवित्रं धृत्वा ఆకుతోటి శరీరం మొత్తం చల్లించి
శరీరం మొత్తం
వాటర్ తులసి ఓం సుజీవ హవ్యామరత సుజేనాగం సుజగం ధనామద్వరగం సుజిభ్యః అర్ధయర సత్యమృదాపాయం సుజిమాన సుజపావకాః అగ్నిసుజవ్రతమసుజ విప్రసుజ కవిః సుజేరోచత ఆహుతః లగ్నే సుజయస్తవ శుక్రాభ్రాజంతజేరదే తవ జ్యోతి గుష్యజ్జయః ఏతోన్నింద్రం స్తవా ఆమశుద్ధం శుద్ధేన సామ్నా శుద్ధైరుద్ధైర్వా బుద్ధ్వాంసం శుద్ధాశీర్వా మమత్తు రుద్రశుద్ధో న ఆగై శుద్ధశుద్ధాభిరోధిభిః శుద్ధోరయంతి ధారయా శుద్ధో మమత్తి సౌమ్యః चित्क्रांतो प्रवृत्तस्य सुखोत्क्रमणसिद्धते भ्यं सम्प्रदते धेनो इमामुत्क्रान्ति संज्ञिका भवाङ्गेषु तिष्ठन्ति भुवनादितस्य यस्मात् ब्रह्मे स्यादस्यान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे गोदानदात् पुण्यात् दक्षिणासहिता तुभ्यां सम्प्रदते नमः यजमानस्य पितुः गोत्रमिति कुन्दुलगोत्रस्य वेङ्कटरेड्डिदाद्वैतस्य मरणदिनादारभ्य यजमानस्य पितुः उत्क्रमण सिद्धिरस्तीति भवन्तः ब्रुवन्तु नीलुवि सुदृश्य सुखेन प्राण उत्कर्मण सिद्धिरस्तु गों गोविंद गोविंद श्री महाविष्णाग्नेय प्रवर्तमानस्याद्य ब्रह्मणः द्वितीय परार्धे एवं गणविशेषण विशिष्टायां पुण्यतिथौ प्राचीना वीति यजमानस्य ओपिञ्ज संदुप्लुपैनान्न यजमानस्य पितुः ఒకసారి గోత్రం చెప్పనన్న మీది గోత్రం కున్నుల గోత్రస్య వెంకటరెడ్డి ప్రేతస్య సమస్త పాప క్షయార్థం సుఖేన ప్రాణ ఉత్క్రమణ సిద్ధ్యర్థం తిలపాత్రదానం ఆచరిష్యే. టేక్ దిస్. తిలాః పాపహరాన్నిత్యం విష్ణోర్దేహ సముద్భవాః పాపం హరంతు మే క్షిప్రం నదస్యాంతిం ప్రయచ్చ మే అస్మై బ్రాహ్మణాయ మహావిష్ణు స్వరూపాయ మహావిష్ణు ప్రీత్యర్థం తిలపాత్రదానం తుభ్యమహం సంవృతతే నమః యజమానస్య పితుః. గోత్రం ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి. కున్నుల గోత్రస్య వెంకటరెడ్డి ప్రేతస్య సుఖేన ప్రాణ ఉత్క్రమణ సిద్ధ్యర్థం తిలపాత్రదానం తుభ్యమహం సంవ్రతతే నమః. పెట్టేసేనమ్మా. ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం. ఏతతో దానసాద్గుణ్యార్థం సదక్షిణా సహితభ్యం సంప్రదే నమః. స్వర్ణం పవిత్రమమ్మలం స్వర్ణం ప్రణాశనం స్వర్ణం శంకరం తస్మాత్ శాంతిం ప్రయచ్చ మే. स्वर्ण आद्य धान्य कृच्छ्र प्रत्याम्नायं यथाशक्ति हिरण्यं तुभ्यमहौ संप्रददे नमः स्वर्ण आद्य धान्य कृच्छ्र प्रत्याम्नाय नमः तुभ्यमहं संप्रददे नमः गोभूतिल हिरण्य वास धान्य गुडानि च रौप्यं लवणम् इत्याहुः दशदाना प्रकीर्तिताः यथाशक्ति $20 ఉన్నాయి దశదాన దశదాన ప్రత్యామ్నాయం हिरण्यम मम ततो दानसाद्गुण्यार्थं सदक्षिणा सहिता फलदानं तुभ्यमहं संप्रददे न मम ओमो वज्रपूर्व यजमानस्य गोत्रस्य दायस्य समस्त पाप पुण्यक अवाप्ति अर्धं कर्णे नारायणादि दिव्य नाम स्मरणं आचरिष्ये just take a little bit water గ్లాస్ అక్కడ పెట్టే నాన్న ఇది తీసుకో చందనము ఫ్లవర్స్ అక్కడే ఉన్నాయి కదా ఒకసారి తీసుకోండి ఒకసారి ఇది కూడా తీసుకొని అక్కడికి పదండి ఇదిగో అమ్మా తీసుకున్నారా హోమం ఉంటుంది. హోమం చేసేసి వెంటనే తీసుకొని వెళ్ళిపోతాం. ఓకేనా? అది సార్ మట్టి ముక్కలు ఇదేనా? ఇదిగో ఇది ఆయనకే కదా వస్త్రం. అగరబత్తులు వాళ్ళ అమ్మగారు చేత అక్కడ పెట్టించేసాడు బాడీ మీద మొత్తం. అంతే పేపర్ తీసి ఇంకా చెప్పారు కదా లేదు బియ్యం అందరు నెయ్యి వచ్చిందా? నీదా డబ్బానా? ఓకే.
So you can start the homework.
ఓకే రెడీ నాదే ఉంది.
That's all. You don't need anything else. Yeah, that's
ఓం సహస్రశీర్షం దేవం విశ్వ విశ్వతః పరమాన్ విశ్వముపజీవతి ఈశ్వర महाग्नेयं विश्वात्मानं पराजणम् नारायणपरो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायणपरं ब्रह्म तत्त्वन्नारायणः परः नारायणपरो ध्याता ध्यानौ नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चिज्जगत्सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुवं पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशकं हृदयिं चाप्यथोमुखम् अधोनिष्ट्यावितस्यां तेनाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाते विश्वस्यायतनं महतो सन्ततकुं शिलाभिस्तुलम्बत्याकोशसन्निभौ तस्यां ते सुशिरकं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितौ तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाच्चिर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुर्ग्विभजन् तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तिर्यगोर्ध्वमदस्याजीरस्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापाददलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अणीयोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्ताज्जिज्जुर्लेखे बभास्वरा नीवारशोकवर्तन्वे पीताभास्वश्चणूपमा तस्या शिखाजा मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म स शिवः स हरिस्सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् आशिशिशानो वृषभो न युध्मो घना घनः क्षोभनश्चर्षणीनां सङ्क्रन्दनो निमिषजकवेरशतकं सेना अजयत्साकमिन्द्रः सङ्क्रन्दनेन निमिषेण जिष्णुना युत्कारेण दुष्यवनेन धृष्णुना नमस्ते रुद्रमण्यवभुतोत इषवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुदते नमः यात इषस्यवतमा शिवं बभूवते धनुः शिवासरव्या जातवतजानो रुद्रमृडया याते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुवासं दमया गिरिशन्दाभिचाकसीः यामिषं गिरिशं दहस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तवे शिवाङ्गिरित्रताङ्कुरुमाहिकुंसेः पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावतामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगदयक्ष्मगं सुमना असतो अध्यवो जदधिवक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषको अहेगुश्च सर्वाञ्जम्भयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असौजस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुष्युमङ्गलः ये च मागो रुद्राभितो दिक्षु श्रिता सहस्रसो वैशाखं हेड ईमहे असय्यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वाभूतानि सदृष्टो मृडजातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे अथो ते अस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करन् नमः प्रमुञ्चधन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरार्त्नियोर्ज्याम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वप अवतत्यधनुस्त्वगं सहस्राक्षसते शुधे निशीर्यशिल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विद्यं धनः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागं वुता अनयसन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गथिः याते हेतरमेढुष्टमहस्ते बभूवते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुजा नमस्ते अस्त्वाजुधादाना तताज धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुदते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अधो ज इषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निधे हितं नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनौ उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। नारायणाय नारायण नारायण। पूर्वोक्तायां पुण्यतिथौ यजमानस्य यजमान्याः पितुः मरणदिनादारभ्य पूर्वोक्तायां पुण्यतिथौ यजमान्याः पितुः कुन्नुल्लगोत्रस्य वेङ्कटरेड्डी प्रेतस्य पुण्यलोक फल अवाप्ति अर्थं पुराणोक्त मार्गेण पैतृमेधिक कर्म करिष्ये नमः। अग्निं प्रज्वाल्य కర్పూరం ఉండదు అనిపించాలి. కర్పూరమా? వైట్ కర్పూరం కంటిగా కొంచెం వెయ్యండి రాయ గారు దీనికి రాశాను అనిపించాను బెస్ట్ అడ్డుకులు మ్యాచ్ చేసి పుట్టింది రాదు అట్లా రాదు ఆరిపోతుంది లోపలికి పడితే ఆరిపోతుంది. Wherever the glue is, this part nana light it up and we need to light the karbooram. Yes, he put camphor, right? Has to light it. The white stuff in there? Yeah. वायुने नमः कृष्णवर्त्मने नमः देवमुखाय नमः सप्तजिह्वाय नमः वैश्वानराय नमः जातवेदसे नमः जातवेदसे नमः आद्य होमं कृत्वा तूष्णीं प्रदक्षिणं परिशिच्य
పుణ్యమంటారా అయ్యారు అవి
ఓం తదంగా ఇంద్రాది అష్టదిక్పాలక హవనం కరిష్యే ఓం ఇంద్రం వా విశ్వదస్పరిహవామహే జనేభ్యః अस्माकमस्तु केवलं गुस्वाहा इंद्रायेदन्न मम अग्नन्दोतं वृणीमहे होतारं विश्ववेदसम् अस्य यज्ञस्य सुकृतुस्वाहा अग्नय इदन्न मम ॐ यमाय सोमकं सरदयमाय जुहुता हविः यमकं हयज्ञो गच्छत् यज्ञदूतो अरङ्कृतस्वाहा यमाय इदन्न मम
కొంచెం క్యాంపర్ ఎంత పొగ వస్తుందా కొంచెం వేయండి అయ్యారు ఏం కాదు
मोशनः परा निर्द्रोहणावदीष्टु स्वतिष्ठतृष्णया सह स्वाहा निर्वृज्यायेदन्न मम ॐ इमं मे वर्णश्रुधिहपमज्जातमृडया त्वामवश्युराचके स्वाहा वरुणायेदन्न मम नववायुवृहस्पते तुष्टर्चा मातरद्भुता अवांश्यां वृणीमहे स्वाहा वायव इदन्न मम सोमो धेनुकुं सोमो अर्वन्तमासिकुं सोमो वीरं कर्मण्यं ददातु साधन्यं विदुत्सकुं सभेयं विदुश्रवणौ यो ददातु तस्मै स्वाहा कुबेरायेदन्न मम समीशानन्द्यगतस्तस्तु षष्पतिं धियं जन्ममवसे हूमहे भजौ पूषाणो जधावेतसामसत्कृते रक्षिता पायुरब्धस्वस्तये स्वाहा ईशानाय इदन्न मम अनेन इन्द्रादि अष्टदिक्पालकहोमेन भगवान् सर्वात्मकः सर्वं श्री यज्ञेश्वरार्पणमस्तु सर्वं श्री यज्ञेश्वरार्पणमस्तु यज्ञेश्वर सुप्रीणातु ఈ రెండు కూడాను వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళిపోయిన తర్వాత
వీళ్ళంతా అక్షంతలు వేసేసినాక
లాస్ట్కి తల దగ్గర పెట్టాలి.
మీ డాడీకి తీసుకోవాలా
the priest is performing the last part of the last rites puja. In moments, we're going to move the casket to cremation with his favorite music song he always loved and wanted to sing and keep listening all the time. After this, there is a after funeral dinner at Holiday Inn Valley View Mall. Please join us. Venkat's favorite food will be served there. All the family members and the RAPS members, please come in the front next to the casket.
जा